Hi everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, hello, welcome. If you're returning, hi, nice to see you all again. So in today's video I'm going to be speaking about how to write a good personal statement. So I get a lot of questions, mainly from international students who are thinking about coming into the UK to study and don't know where to start, or generally from people who may have a background in something completely different to social work and they want to know how to get started and what the process is to apply to become a social worker. So in the United Kingdom, we're required to write a personal statement, and this consists of, I believe it's 4,000 characters, which is approximately 47 lines that you need to write and submit to UCAS when you're submitted your application. So I want to kind of go and talk a bit about how I think, or what I think a good personal statement is and what it looks like and what it should include. So in every personal statement it should include a bit about your experience, a bit about what skills you have, but mainly it should consist of a little bit of a story around why you want to be a social worker, what your passions are and what is driving you to want to study the course. Bear in mind, these lecturers and teachers and whoever that's looking at your application, they're receiving hundreds of them. So they're not looking for everyone to say, I want to be a social worker because I'm passionate about helping children and families. You know, they want to really see like what is unique in this individual, what can this person bring to this course, and how do we think that we can help better equip this person to be a good social worker. I guess the goal of every teacher is to want students to become the best that they can be. So I'm going to also leave an example. I'm going to try and anonymize it as much as I can of my personal statement, what I submitted at the time of applying for my UCAS application, just to give you guys a few prompts, and I'll also list some websites that I looked at. Okay, so when I submitted my UCAS application and I got an interview for Middlesex University when I studied, when my interview finished, I actually had a conversation with two of my lecturers who actually interviewed me, and I said to them, you know, what is it that's, you know, really stood out for you in my personal statement? And one thing they said to me is that I had unique experiences compared to everyone else. So for example, I worked and I did some voluntary work in South Africa, and I lived there for 3 months, you know, helping the community, doing public speaking, doing workshops on hygiene, sanitation, sexual health, teaching PHSC or PSHE, whichever way around it is, maths and English to both primary school and secondary schools. That was something that they really loved about my personal statement, and that was unique to everyone else. So when you're thinking about writing your personal statement, bear in mind that this is your story that you want to tell. As much as it's like, okay, it's 47 words, you know, and it's a lot that you have to condense. Ultimately, this is like the start for you preparing for what, you know, submitting assignments and deadlines. That's ultimately why they, I guess, put that, you know, out there, 47 lines, because they want to see, okay, is this person equipped, you know, for what university is all about. When you're going to your lectures and your seminars, ultimately you're going to have to complete assignments, you know. So it's also like a bit of training to prepare you for what's to come, because when that what's to come comes, it's gonna come. So I'm gonna give you a few tips to bear in mind when, you know, writing your personal statement and preparing for your interview. So firstly is, your story is your own. Try to make it your own. You know, you can look at many examples, you can, you know, see what others are doing, but ultimately try to make it personal to you. Try to, you know, don't just try to say something like, I'm passionate about this, or I want to be this, because try and, you know, weave in something that tells them a story about you. So for example, for me, it's like I come from a really big family. I grew up with, or I'm one of 10 siblings. You know, that's something that's not common. It's something that kind of drew them in to my personal statement. Another thing that's to think about is just make a note of the essential things. So you don't have a lot of space, you don't have a lot of words to write. You know, write down what's important. You studied this, what did you learn from this? Is there a module that relates to social work that you can kind of put in there to let them know, okay, you have been reading, you do know what's required, you do know what kind of modules that's gonna come up. A really simple one, you know, or theory that you can add is the attachment theory. You know, that's across the board. You know, everyone knows what an everyone should know about the attachment theory. They're not looking to, you know, they're not looking for anyone, they're not looking for you to be perfect, right? No one's perfect anyway. No one's story is perfect. But they just want to know, okay, you're coming into a course and you want to study social work. Social work, as much as it's a course, it's about real life things. It's about mental health, it's about children, child protection, adults, disability, everything that surrounds society. Social work is in it, you know. So they want to know, okay, can this person advocate for someone? Can this person listen? Are you empathetic? Can you sympathize? Can you, you know, are you confident enough that when you need to attend professionals meetings that you can, you know, speak clearly, that when you're writing pieces of work that you can write concise and clear, that the reader can actually understand what you're saying. So they're really just trying to get a sense in that small 47 lines of who you are. So think about your voluntary experience, you know, your employment, different areas that you've worked in, and what skills you've developed from there, and how you can add that to the course. As I said before, you know, you can have a background in something completely opposite to social work, but it's about how can you use those skills that you've learnt from there and, you know, bring it into the social work course. Whether you're applying for an undergraduate course or a master's course, they know that you don't know it all. When you're writing your personal statement, give yourself time. I think at the time of me writing my personal statement, I probably rewrote it about 4 or 5 times at the time. And I do admit, because I'm so far ahead from there, it does seem like ages ago since I did it. It seems like, oh my gosh, I forgot what the pressure is like. But I have to remind myself that at that time I was really nervous. I didn't think I was going to get it. However, when I did, you know, get into my interview stage, it was so informal. It was just a chat, and they just wanted to really know about me. They wanted to know if I had done any reading, if I knew anything about social work. They really wanted to just inquire about what I understood at that beginning stage, to see if I'll be able to handle the course, which I got through and I'm here today. So I know that I said I'm going to leave my personal statement in the comment section below anonymized, but I do want to read it out just to give you a sense of what my personal statement was like. And I do hope that this is actually my finalized one. I found so much in my email, but yeah, I'm going to read it out for you guys just so you can get an understanding and a better picture of what my personal statement was like that I submitted. So, my motivation to study a master's in social work stems from my desire to understand social structures, justice and social sciences. Being one of 9 children who have experienced traumatic experiences such as bereavement, neglect and separation. Having overcome several obstacles, I want to serve the vulnerable, neglected and recovering members of society. I strongly believe that my life experiences thus far have enabled me to be an empathetic, caring, patient and down-to-earth individual. English. Presently, I've just finished my first degree in early childhood studies, and during the course I undertook modules like social investigation in the contemporary world, the child in the context of the social and emotional aspects of teaching and learning. These modules gave me an extensive understanding of safeguarding, ethics, attachment, society and social problems that affect the lives of individuals. Upon applying for this course, I want to be challenged and equipped to gain a better understanding of the roles and responsibilities of a social worker. In the summer of 2015, I volunteered in South Africa for 3 months for a charity living in a host family. I worked with the local community, schools and at events creating innovative projects to tackle inequality, poverty and social education. One of the projects me and my team worked on involved us partnering with a community a few miles away from our village to collect seed donations to teach the families in our community how to grow a garden and harvest fresh fruits and vegetables to eat. This was part of our healthy eating campaign. Okay, this is too small. The role required me to work consistently and positively in a team. My ability to encourage, problem solve and clearly convey information increased the quality of my teamwork skills. In addition to some unexpected situations that occurred, such as working with neglected children, I could protect, assess and respond appropriately to the well-being of those children. These experiences enacted a desire within me to pursue a career that would allow me to further promote justice, safeguarding, strengthen and enhance the overall well-being of individuals, organisations, communities and social groups. In my current and previous roles within the educational sector, I have 2 years experience working directly with children in school settings. The role of a teaching assistant has required me to work with children with disabilities, behavioural and learning difficulties. I'm currently working in a community nursery, providing care, teaching and observing children to help understand their learning needs and early stages of development. A social worker is one who supports the holistic well-being of individuals while showing empathy and understanding. My experience working with children has taught me the importance of character development and self-awareness and self-esteem, as it allows practitioners to provide the best quality care for children. Furthermore, I understand that a committed social worker is required to work flexible and sometimes extended hours. Working in a nursery requires me to work long hours, though sometimes challenging. Thus, this has helped me to be a disciplined individual and take pride in my punctuality. I'm sorry, yeah, but me reading this now, that is a good personal statement. That's why I'm here today. That is actually a really good personal statement. I'm actually proud looking at it now. I don't think I remembered writing something so good. But yeah, that's my personal statement that I submitted and got in the course and finished the course, and that's why I'm here today. But as you can see, so I started off speaking a bit about my experience and why I wanted to study the course. Then I went on to giving them just a few lines about, you know, what my undergraduate degree. So because I applied for a master's, my undergraduate oh my gosh, English undergraduate degree was in, and I also pulled out some of the modules that would be related to the social work course, and I just did a Google search on, you know, what modules and what courses and what things are discussed in social work, and it just happened that that course just was a perfect course to be a stepping stone on to get into the course. But yeah, so I spoke a bit about the modules, some of the modules that I studied in my early childhood studies degree and how that related or directly correlated with the social work course. Then I went on to speak a bit about my experiences. So I spoke about my voluntary experience in South Africa, my work with the community, my work with children in the villages and so on, and what I did. And I actually did quite a lot of child protection. I classify that as child protection looking back, because there were some issues there, boy. But after that, I spoke about what my role was at that present time. So at that time, I think I was working in schools and nurseries actually as a teaching assistant. And then just a bit about what I learned and what I was learning, what skills I developed from there. And then lastly, I ended on what the role and responsibility is of a social worker, and how the skills that I learned in that role at the time as a teaching assistant would help me in the role of a social worker. So although it sounds like a lot of words and a bit technical, it's not. And it's just about how you word everything, and sometimes that can be a bit difficult. And thinking, oh, mine doesn't sound like yours, I haven't used those techie words. Guys, I think I used Grammarly at the time to correct some things, because my writing was, it's all coming back to me now. Like, for your punctuation, your grammar, go to Grammarly, it's free. You know, put your paragraphs in, make sure that, you know, it is punctual, your grammar is correct, and you're good to go. But be confident in your story. Be confident that you're unique, and your experiences, although it may be similar to a lot of other people, it's different because it's yours. Take your time, don't rush it. I think I did mine rewrote mine probably 4 or 5 times just until I was satisfied. Second tip is, your story is your own. Your personal statement is unique to you. You know, don't try and copy others. Look for inspiration, yes. If you need some guidance, yes. But ultimately, make it yours. And thirdly, be confident, you know. Be confident of what you've done. So in my next video, I'm going to be speaking about the interview process. So, you know, your first interview that you will have after you've successfully got into your chosen universities. What's that like? What to expect? Your ASYE interview. What to prepare for, you know, what potential questions are going to come up. And then lastly, I'll be giving you a few tips on just general social work related interviews. but I'll see you in my next one. Bye.